them now, my darling, and step back in time with me for a spell. Back to when the wild things, they were not for sale. And what was sacred had not yet been forgotten before our minds became clouded and filled with rot. There was one, at least one in each and every clan. Those that came from the Otherland. Hear us. Just in case any of that didn't go well, you were listening to Otherland Dreams, and I am Lady Stars on Fire. I'm here with Hill Hippie, but more importantly, sorry, honey, you got to get put to the bottom tonight.
Hey, I'm used to it, it happens.
More importantly, we're here with the owners of the Grove of Brite Blessings. This is, actually, is it Cheryl or Cheryl?
Cheryl.
Well, which one do you prefer, honey?
I go by Cheryl.
Okay, Cheryl and Norman, Howdyshell. Did I not butcher it? Howdyshell. See, I butchered it. That's why I asked, because I knew I was going to do it. So, anyway, I apologize. But it's the Grove of Brite Blessings here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So I'm going to turn you over to them, and let's see what, tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Hello, my name is Norman,
And I'm Cheryl.
and we own a metaphysical, new age, curiosity, spiritual shop. What that means basically is that we carry spiritual supplies for spiritual people.
See, now, Hill Hippie and I, this is our store. We go there often to get our stuff. We love, let me just replace that, love this place. I go in there all the time. I can always find the stuff I need. So I'm telling you, if you live in the Fredericksburg area, anywhere remotely close to the Fredericksburg area, this is the place that you want to be going to, because you can get almost everything you need. And if not, they at least can help direct you to where you can get it.
And if they don't carry it, you probably don't need it. The ghost in the machine, they're not going to carry it because it's not something you want.
So, yeah, I mean, we love the store. I mean, you can get crystals there. You can get, there's so much different stuff. And, I mean, let me go back, though, turn you back over to the two of them, and tell me a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll get into the store. So at least the people, when they're coming, they already feel like they know you.
Sorry, this is...
It's all good, sweetie.
I'm enjoying this because listening to other people talk about our shop just
makes you feel
us
all
feel
gooey?
very good. Yes,
all gooey
yes.
and gooey inside.
It's the main reason why Spirit put us in that position.
You're meant to help people.
To help people, to be a place where people can come and find and ask questions. But, I tell people all the time, if all you are looking to do is come to a place that has a nice positive vibe, do that too. We want you to feel comfortable. It's bad enough that metaphysics is taboo to a lot of people. Fredericksburg is still a little bit of a backwoods town when it comes to what we do, what we carry. Mm-hmm. So we want people to come to a place and feel comfortable. There's a shop in Maine that we've been going to for 30 years, and it's nice to go up to his front door, and as soon as you get there, you drop your baggage, you have that moment, and that's what we want to create for our clientele.
I love that. That's perfect. I think that most of us that are in, I don't even want to say this business, because, I mean, the spiritual and metaphysical business and doing the readings and all of that, it is a business, but I think it's more of trying to just change the way of life for better.
It's all about teaching, helping. Yes, there is the business aspect,
right?
But it's also that wanting to help people understand what it's all about and what they're searching for.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what it's like Norman was just saying. When somebody comes in the door and they come over for help, they don't want to feel anxiety, or should I ask this, or is there something wrong, or could something be wrong with me? And they don't want to be worried about all of that. They want to feel at home. They want to feel comfortable with being able to come into their spiritual, come into all of their gifts and whatnot, and start to evolve and feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I think that's what I mean by it's also a way of life. It is a business, but a bigger part of the business is helping everybody feel healthier as we evolve.
Right.
So I love the way he put that.
And that leads me to another issue that we have. We've been open for about 2.5 years, and I still kick around the idea, do I want a storefront? Do I want to remain where I'm at? And, half or if not more of our clientele really appreciate the fact that we are in the back of an antique court of shops. They can come in, they can look, do what they want to do. Big Brother isn't looking over their shoulders, wondering what they're doing and chastising them for it. So, I'm
You can blend in.
yes,
You can blend in without being like, look at you. You don't have to feel like you're going to be the witch on the cross that's being burned, so to speak. You're not being exactly like you said. I like that because I like how it blends in, and what I love about the store too is it may not necessarily be the Grove of Brite Blessings products, but throughout the whole store, the Grove of Brite Blessings is hidden in the way of, like, you can see the herbs with the soaps and stuff like that. So the natural energy of everything is coming in, it's pulling you right into the Grove of Brite Blessings anyway, because all of those herbs and things like that are like soaps and herbs and whatnot. You find that stuff throughout the whole store, and then you get to the Grove of Brite Blessings. So it's like we're naturally pulling you into it anyway, and I love that because it blends the two worlds together.
Definitely. But then we also have people that somehow find us. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what the shop is. They've never been to the shop, but they say, I've just been drawn to come into this building, and I know you're back here in the corner. Well,
That's their guides, even if they don't know they have guides.
exactly. And I say to some of my friends and some of our customers, clients, I put the beacon of light out there on the top of the building, and it's not just for our shop, but it's for the whole Caroline Square shop. If the Caroline Square is successful themselves, then they will be there just as long as we plan to be there.
Right.
It's not just about us; it's about the whole
Unity.
building, the whole thing. But yeah, they find us.
we're like the milk in Walmart. They have to pass everything else in the store to get to us. So please stop and buy something else, and then come back and spend the rest of your money with us.
Well, like I said,
And
I
like
just
the
love
milk,
how
you
it all
have
goes.
multiple options.
Yes, many different rooms.
It does though. Like I said, I love the place. I've never gotten anything but warm and comfortable energy from the both of you, and to be honest, I've shopped in the store many times when you guys aren't there. And it's your days off, and you just take the stuff up to the front desk, and they'll still check you out. I mean, I think I came in one time. I specifically was like, "No, I've decided today I need that tarot deck." And so she went back and opened up the cage and got it out for me. No problem, not uncomfortable at all. Just if you do happen to go in there and go shopping and it's their day off, just go back to the front desk and they'll be happy to help you.
And just to throw that in, Mondays we are not there. So
why don't you tell them what your hours are and where you're located?
We are open Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 5. Thursday through Saturday, 10 to 6, and Sunday, 12 to 5. Like Cheryl said, we are not there on Mondays. We have other obligations. We are our
You're allowed to have days off, man.
our grandson's babysitter. So I know that's a little difficult. We're trying to work on that. We are located at 914 Caroline Street. It is diagonally across the street from Capitol Ale House.
Sometimes Rusty the Rooster's outside. That's your key. The big aluminum rooster.
Aluminum rooster.
Or, yeah, at the front door. If you see Rusty the Rooster, that's the entrance.
Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to behave.
The other day we were walking in and I almost knocked him over.
He is not outside every day because when Linda is working, she cannot haul him out. He is a bit heavy.
believe that.
So
That opens up a door to a lot of jokes that we should just leave closed.
But yeah.
So you walk up to 914, and numerous people have said, this can't be right. There's, shabby chic, there's antiques, there's absolutely nothing here except maybe a sign that says Metaphysical. But like I said, we are in Caroline Square. There's 40 plus vendors in there, and we are conveniently hidden / located in the back corner.
left side.
And there for you.
All right. One of the other things too, just because like I think we all associate things in our own way. Like they were saying, where they were across from and whatnot. When Hill Hippie and I go, we always know to look for the green roof. The green roof is where I know that it's always. I'm like, when I see the green roofing, I'm like, yeah, we're about to hit the doors. So for me, that's one of those things. We're just letting you know, weird things happen in weird ways. I don't know. Green's one of my colors though that I see in astral. So that's probably why the green sticks in my head. I don't know. But okay, why don't you tell me? Just in general, because like I said, we can get into different classes that you have different kinds of crystals and ideas and stuff of all of that. But help our listeners know who you are, so they know why they should be comfortable with trusting you and coming to you.
I'm going to let you start first with this one, since you cover a lot more ground with it than I do.
Don't sell yourself short, dear. I am a psychic medium and a spiritual teacher. I found my gifts at the age of 4. As a lot of kids that age have imaginary friends, and I hate to say this, parents, but don't doubt your kids having imaginary friends because they probably really are there. My mom was also psychic, but she could not see my imaginary friends. So I worked with that person or child for about 4 years, and they disappeared. And then after that, it was just see. I was able to see and hear spirits. We had activity at our house. My dad was a non-believer. My mom totally believed, of course. And from there, it was just interesting meditation weeks at my house, starting at the age of 12 with family members. And then from there, it went into some seances with my mom and family. And after that, it was just the more you meditate, the more that's where I always go. The more you meditate and ground and work with yourself, it opens up your higher self, and that's just where I've come from and where I am now. That I'm working with doing medical readings. I read energy, the chakra energy. I clear aura energy. Yes,
I'm curious because different people take it in different ways.
Yes and no. I used to see energy, and now it's more I sense it or see from everything is from the third eye. Hearing and seeing is still extremely strong for me, and it will never go away. I'm not letting it go away. When I do readings, I speak with spirit guides, guardian angels, any loved ones that have crossed over, and archangels also. So I work with the higher realms with all of my readings.
Yeah, no, you have one standing right behind you right now. So, I mean, no, I asked that because, example, I'm not 100% visual with spirit when I see them, but I see spirit quite a lot, and I do sense them. But like Hill Hippie doesn't necessarily see them, but he senses them, and he'll sense them before me sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes he'll sense them before I do, and I'm the one with the vision,
It's not necessarily all physical vision. I call it third eye vision. So yes,
no, exactly.
And
that's what I'm getting into, because I like people to understand as they're growing into themselves. They learn from us the ones who are willing to stand up and come out and
Mhm.
make businesses and move forward. They learn from us how to come into their energy and feel more secure with it by listening.
And not being afraid.
Right, they've got to learn
Mhm.
to not be afraid because when I all right, I'm just gonna go back to myself for just 1 second. When I first came, when I was young, I had the gifts, and then life gets in the way of life. Da 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 da. Next thing I know is I'd forgotten them all and turned them off. I got robbed at gunpoint. When I got robbed at gunpoint, I brought everything back threefold, like as if I never lost it.
Mhm.
And when I brought it back, I also brought it back from a very fear based place. So I had a lot of over conquering to do to get back to right. So it's like I started out on the wrong side of it, not like on a demonic level, like being, but my fears have
Fear
created my
side.
own and brought them to me.
Mhm.
So I'm very big on wanting to help people learn how to come into themselves because I had so many problems with it when I finally came back online, so to speak, that I don't want to see anybody have to go through what I went through because they didn't know who to go to. They didn't know where to go. They were afraid to ask questions.
Mhm.
So I'm always like, what works for me may not work for you.
Correct.
And so I like to help people realize and there's so many people out there who, they get the ideas, I know everything and I'm this and I'm that and it can only be this way. And I'm like, those are the people you don't want to listen to.
Exactly. And approaching or speaking to clients, it's always about this is what works for me. It might not work for you, but here's some suggestions. That's
Hmm.
what I always put out there. And I'm like, try this. If it doesn't work, then try this. Just keep trying or working with um, the process until you're comfortable.
Well,
But yeah,
exactly, and that's why I was asking you in general. Like when you're connecting with spirit or the energy or vice versa. To tell me about yourselves because, I mean, that also helps our listeners. Learn about themselves, and then learn. Well, this one says that, and that might be. I might be
hmm
a little bit like that. And learn. Or no, man, I don't
and
work
it's
like that.
also I feel very hard to try to explain how you see from a third eye when your eyes are open.
See, now I explain. See, and that's fine when I explain for people because I actually see spirit. Like I will see what looks like a starry image, or I will see like a ghostly image. And when I say a ghostly image, it's like as if I can see through it.
Shadowy or
It's usually
filmy,
white, yeah,
filmy.
filmy and white,
hmm
and I can see through it. And and I can tell that, or it's like a starry image, whether it's white,
hmm
green, purple, it doesn't matter what color it's coming in. For me, I'll see, the image of what I'm seeing and it's outlined that way.
hmm
But when I see like from the third eye, I'm like, I know what my eyes are seeing, but I'm telling you, they're putting a picture of this in my head.
Exactly,
And that's the way I
and
explain it.
that's how I see when I'm doing reading the chakras or working medical because they'll actually go inside the body and pinpoint places for me and show me strange things sometimes. But that's I call it my dictionary.
Exactly.
And I tell people that, books are great. I understand that. Learn your colors, whatever you got to do, but create your own dictionary.
Exactly. I'm like, find out what your connections are.
Exactly.
And I'm like, once you figure out what you might learn what the ideal, like with herbs, like for me, if I'm dealing with lavender, I know all I'm dealing with is healing and love. There's no protection in it. I mean, because in a form, healing is protection, but it breaks down for me just for that. And then I'm
Mhm.
like, but when you figure out what your connections are,
Exactly.
then you're starting to move forward. And that's part of what I was saying is as people come in there to the Grove of Brite Blessings, I want them to hear that you've been able, what your connections are. You're comfortable with it.
Mhm.
I'm able to help you figure out what yours are if you're speaking to me because, dude, I get it. And this is why I'm asking you these questions because I want you to feel comfortable about helping yourself explain to everybody how it works for you, as well as helping them to understand how it might work for them and they don't realize it. I and I'm sorry to get off the subject for a moment, but what is that show? The Rhode Island lady, the
Long
medium,
Island
yeah,
medium.
Long Island. I love her, and I love her because when I watch the show, as silly as it is, I catch little things that she does. Everybody else is watching the show because they want to know what she has to say, what spirit has to tell her, blah blah blah. I'm looking at critiquing myself. I'm going, dude, I do that. I do that. I'm like, my throat gets all dry. She's about to have one happen, and stupid little things like that. And I look at it from a medium's point of view of, when I'm dealing with other people, it helps us critique ourselves by learning oh yeah, that did happen, or no, 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 it's never going to be that way. And that's why I ask these questions.
Yeah.
So I look at it as doing the same thing. What?
Or you could always take the approach that I will when somebody asks me, so what do you think about the store? I think the Grove of Brite Blessings.
Awesome! My God, that was loud.
That's because I'm a loud boy.
He about knocked me and Cheryl right out of the seat.
Worth it.
So tell me about you.
My earwax is cleaned up for about a week.
See, that's a $5 charge for free.
So, by the way, not to toot my wife's horn, but she is really awesome. I can never get over customers coming out of readings with her dumbfounded look on their face, just like,
how did she know?
It's a cross between oh my God and oh shit.
You can cuss. It's okay if it slips.
This is internet radio. That's one of the reasons why I'm so quiet is because I curse like a sailor. I work construction.
So I mean, there was one reading in particular that she comes out, the lady comes out behind her, and both of them are just like open mouth, open eyes, and she goes, "Oh shit, you'll never know how many archangels were just in there with me." And I'm like, at first surprised, and then it's like, no, it doesn't surprise me a bit with you.
But I think as you get better at finding who you are, it's easier for you to connect with them, which means it's easier to just bring them all in. So, I mean, that's a compliment. By all means, it's a compliment from both sides.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciate everything that they help me with, but I find that it's not all clients receive information from them. It's certain ones who really need to hear it. It's very specific messages. Yeah, definitely.
No, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. I want them to know that they can feel you, they can understand, and then put the trust in it so they can come for readings, and they feel,
It gets a little confusing sometimes, though, when I start channeling spirit, and then I go in between I and me. So I sit there and go, okay, this is not me, this is them. Okay, this is me. Okay, I'm gonna just do it.
Just blurt it out.
Yeah.
But you're telling them is good for them to know, and in one sense, maybe it's just good for you to know, so you're keeping up.
Yeah, it's a little hard sometimes, but yeah, yesterday was interesting, but yeah, definitely.
No, I understand completely because I'm like me and Hill Hippie, and I'll be like, no, I'm telling you, this is not coming from me. So I know exactly what you're saying. So I'm like, or I get we have to go that way now, and I have no idea. I'm like, but we're going that way. So yeah, I mean, I just, like I said, I wanted to touch base with you and help you, just allow your beautiful self to bloom. So now bloom, Norman. Look at him all shy and quiet over here.
I'm one of those flowers that bloom like every 60 years. I did have an experience when I was 16. I was going through a time where I was just starting to think about death and non-consciousness and so forth. And I went into a bookstore in the mall, Walden Books. I'm sure anybody younger than 50 have never heard of it, but
Incorrect. I used to live in Walden Books.
So I was in there in the metaphysical book section and looking, and I noticed this lady off to my side looking at me, and it's making me rather nervous, but she comes over to me, reaches down and picks up a book and hands it to me and says, "Here, this is exactly where you need to start." So I look at the book instead of turning to her, and I said, "Thank you." And she goes, "And by the way, your spirit guide's name is Serene." And by this time, I've turned the book over. I'm not paying any more attention to her and looking at things on the back of the book. After about 30 seconds, not enough time for her to get out of the front of the store or any place else, I do finally wake up and turn to thank her. And she is nowhere in the store, out in the air, anything. Gone completely. So that kind of left me in awe. The book itself struck me for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was by a person who does research and has spent a lot of time working at the University of Virginia. And I know it's sad, but that struck a chord with me because everybody else in my family roots for Virginia Tech. So someone going for Virginia, that did it for me. But the book was Life After Life by Dr. Raymond Moody. And it started me on my reading about things and trying to gather as much information as I could about other options. Because I was figuring at this point, if what I had learned in church up to this point were true, then, you know, there was no option for me other than the fiery pit or non-existent. So as I grew to understand and look at things, I told myself that this time around, I didn't have any gifts. I set my life up to completely believe in the gifts of others so that would force me to strengthen my faith and my belief in the system. Jump ahead to 2016.
Mm-hmm.
August 1st, 2016, we purchased the Grove. Sometime in late August 2016, I had a young man come into the shop, and Cheryl was in doing a reading at the time, and he started talking to me about her gifts, about readings, about things going on, and I was explaining it to him as to what's going on. The young man says, "Oh, I believe in all of that, but it never happens to me, da-da-da-da-da." And simultaneously, while he says that, I get the picture in my mind of NCIS, the TV show, of the lead investigator smacking Denozo along the backside of the head. And I'm like, what the? And I don't know why, but I instinctively turned inside and asked Spirit, what is that supposed to mean? And it was like, okay, that's your new signal for if somebody is saying something that you don't believe and they don't believe, you're going to see that.
I'm calling you on it, yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then I got, and if you're open to seeing that, we've got a flood of information coming for you because 52 years was way too long for you to not believe in it. And ever since then, the pictures have been coming. The information flows. Somebody asked actually yesterday, how is it that you do what you do? And it was a lady, and you have to understand, I am comic relief. You know, I'll refer to myself as the comical medium. And so she asks, and I go, you're probably not going to want to hear this or suggest it to your husband, but I do what I do because the thoughts that pop into my head automatically come out of my mouth. And, it's...
If you just, it's his facial expression. I can't help it. Go ahead.
But like you were saying earlier, oftentimes I will say things to people. I will tell them things that are going on, this, that, and the other. And 2 or 3 minutes into it, it's like, what exactly did I say?
Yeah, you're like, sorry, that really wasn't me. Now that I'm back, I'm here to tell you that was not me.
and it's gotten that way with everything. I don't know if it's hanging out with the stuff in the shop. I'm sure that's a lot of it, and other things going on. But
hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and, you know,
the more mediums too that you're around,
exactly.
Mhm.
and then you're with
Um,
one all the time.
You're not supposed to take sides.
I shall shut right back up. Go on about what you were going on about, Norman.
Notice
But
that happens to you every episode. So it's not just me. Somebody else has had to shut you up.
But even when I teach classes and get up in front of people to speak, I'll write for hours or days about what I'm talking about, and
And then he doesn't
two
use
or
any
three
of it.
2 or 3 lines into it, I'm just like, okay, let me know when I'm done. So yeah, the last 2.5 years with it has been a wonderful ride. I am probably not nearly as happy as Spirit is that I finally woke up um, and started doing what I do. Um, in seeing the expression on people's face, I had a customer in the shop today that I had talked to about a month and a half ago, maybe a little longer. And when this person came into the shop back then, they came in with a group of friends, yet they were set off and alone. And Spirit kept nagging me to go tell this person that they needed to stop listening to everybody else and started to buy into themselves that other people were devaluing them.
Mhm.
So after hearing that maybe 8 or 9 times, like, okay, I'll go tell them.
No, he
now I know
raced out
what-
of the office and went to go find that person.
Nice.
But that's
Yeah.
a good thing. I
No,
mean,
that
I-
it is. It was. He was on a roll.
I kept seeing Teresa Caputo, and I'm like, no, I'm not going up to people and interrupting their pasta and telling them about. But I went up, talked to him. He goes, "Thank you so very much. I really needed to hear that." And when he came into the shop today,
The first thing I
Um,
said to him was, "You have totally changed." I could see it on his face that he was more accepting of himself, and his aura was brighter.
well, that's a good thing. then.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so I mean, it's two things that was helped there. I mean, like you were just saying, I don't want to go up to somebody I don't know. I'm telling Spirit all the time, seriously, unless you have something important for me to say. I mean, like that, it's got to be more than this. You got to give me enough to work with. If you're not giving me enough to work with, then I am not going up to them.
Hmm.
But as you start going through that, that helps you open your channel a little bit better,
Mhm.
so that you're more confident within yourself and going up to them, and then also you helped the person. So it's a 2 for 1.
because Spirit's going to turn around and tell you, well, it's not quite for you to decide what is important to be told to them and what is not.
Yes, and you are absolutely right, because I am the worst fighter with Spirit. I'm like, I don't care. But
And that's exactly how I am in readings. It's like, you've got to tell them, and I'm like, I'm holding on to my chair, and they go, "Please just tell me." And I'm like, "You're not gonna like this." Or get ready. And when I usually say get ready, that means there's gonna be some really foul language coming out of my mouth from the other side. And they go, "Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about." I'm like, "Okay, good."
exactly, I mean, Spirit usually has exactly the right things and knows exactly what to say.
Mhm.
It's our, as a human, being uncomfortable with stepping up to that plate, so to speak, stepping into that new category. But that's when as we learn to get
Mhm.
more right with ourselves, like you said, going inward and meditating and get closer to your higher self, you
Mhm.
start to get rid of, clear the roots, and it makes you stronger, and you are helping yourself and helping them.
Exactly.
But that does not mean, as you're coming into that energy, that you are not fighting it every step of the way. Because, like I said, I'm seriously, if you got to give me something more to work with. I can now walk up to these people in the middle of the restaurant and just be like, "Oh, by the way, da 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 da," and that's it. I was like, "That's it? Really? Really? No, no." So I know what you're saying, because
Yeah.
I mean, as we overcome that,
Mhm.
we get better at it, and learning to just trust it, and stop asking so many freaking questions.
Yeah.
But that's what we do as humans.
And
And
that's
that's why my mantra for 2019 is less humaning, more souling.
I like that.
because we do have to get out of
Right.
our own head and think about things from the other side, from that perspective, and that's what's going to help us grow.
Yeah.
Exactly. I swear to God, you're scared the
Longboard.
crap out of me today.
That was the wrong one. That's my bad. I
What
thought
was
it was
you
going to
trying?
go. I thought it was going to go. But instead it went ah.
Wow.
Damn you, EK.
He's playing with all of the noise making
Ah.
stuff.
I'm more
New-
comfortable with the audio and the video side now. So
New
now
toy, huh?
Now I'm expanding
Exactly.
what I can do.
I read an
Boys and their
article on
toys.
I read an article on Facebook today about this find that they made of whole dinosaurs and animals and all that were killed when asteroid hit the Earth 6 million years ago, and I swear that sounded like a pterodactyl coming back to life. So I think
You're welcome then.
Well, that's
Maybe.
validation for both for me, 100%. I've got because I get dinosaurs and information a lot as we're going into different things. For like with the healing messages that I put out every week and stuff. And lately, I know it has to do, like you said, with 2019. This is actually dealing with 2020 because I'm getting the dinosaurs coming in left and right, and I'm like, okay, I'm listening. So yeah, things, yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to bring that up considering you were like, it sounded like a pterodactyl because I was like, here we go again. Dinosaurs.
All right, so allow me to make a tactful shift in the conversation because there's something I know about with the store that I've not heard you guys mention yet, and it's something that's really drawn my attention. This new tapestry room you've got.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
okay. Well, before we go there,
Okay.
the shop itself started in 2011 as the Green Mangrove, and I still get numerous people coming in. Is this the Green Mangrove? The person that had it before us had a vision, didn't quite know exactly how to expand on things, kept it kind of small and personal. And then in 2016, she got the opportunity of a lifetime and they moved to Myrtle Beach. Well, Spirit came to her and told her that the best people to keep the Grove growing, to move forward, would be Cheryl and I. When she called and told Cheryl that,
I was in awe for
Literally.
45 minutes, chin open or jaw open, and going, what did you say? Exactly. What did you say? You said, huh?
so
Yeah.
I mean, we probably were a week throwing roadblocks up in our own way with why we couldn't. Everyone, Spirit answered quickly. So we purchased the shop August the 1st of 2016. And as I said earlier, we have been going to a metaphysical shop in Maine for 30 years. And this gentleman's shop is just the epitome of what one person tries to do for his community in from a metaphysical standpoint. So it was like when we took over, I told Cheryl, I said, I want to be like Enchantments. And so she goes, well, let's go for it. I said, well, the first thing that we need to do is put positive energy in there. And the second thing that we need to do is expand every category because Fredericksburg's ready for this, but Fredericksburg needs more than just entry level. If I carry a book on tarot for entry level, I need one for medium, and I should be getting one soon for advanced. And so we looked at a lot of that, and that first Christmas we expanded to one extra wall beside the two rooms that we had, and we expanded so many categories that I noticed that people were standing shoulder to shoulder looking at books or looking at the stones. So in 2017, we kicked around the idea of whether or not to go out and get a storefront or the person that runs the overall Caroline Square was talking to us about moving to a back corner and literally tripling our size. So in September of 2017, we went from our two small rooms, which were about 400 square feet, to the space that we're in now, which
But that was
covered
after
about.
we came back from vacation.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
there's
throw
some.
that in
Yep.
there. Throw
Yep.
that in there.
She's like,
It's
"Wait,
always
this is-"
after vacation that this
Always.
happens. Always.
Get a
But
nice,
it works that
get
way
a-
really well though, because vacation helps you
Decompress.
Yeah.
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 And then it's like, okay, let's expand.
rest, relax, get a wild hair up my butt, expand. Yes. So we moved to the back corner to 1,000 square feet, and that satisfied our needs for a little bit. We saw the growth continue, and we were still kicking around the idea of expanding some categories. So this past week, we expanded into one more room in the back.
After
and,
vacation again.
She's really getting the hang of this radio thing.
Yeah.
I dig it. She's finding her legs quickly. I like it a lot.
It's my stone.
So we're up to about 1,200 square feet.
Righteous. And
So yes, the tapestries have their own room now. Norm did it all in one day, without me there it was Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday morning, I was babysitting, and I come in, and it's just about done. And so they all have their own space, their home. So the banners are back there, the tapestries are back there, everything's hanging. It's nice and neat. You can get around.
It allowed us
which-
to be able to bring in another bookcase and a half of books and another bookcase of
journals. So yes, I'm expecting 50 new journals next week and new books, and and then this week new tarot decks and new oracle decks came in because we got a new case there too. So just have to keep expanding
there you
and
go.
adding.
I know. I've been watching her. It's cute.
I'm gonna wear the surface off that stone.
It's my stone. Leave me alone.
It's my stone. I'll do what I want.
Exactly.
Oh God, that's
Wasn't
so
that a
wrong.
song lyric?
Now,
It's
Norman
something.
and I are both watching Cheryl. She's just sitting here holding her stone, and it's just like with her fingers, holding the stone.
When the listeners watch the video, they can see it from the camera angle I've got.
Everybody can
What?
see you. Just look at the camera for a second. Okay, now look where your hands are. Anybody who goes back and watches it can just see you just rubbing your stones.
Phrasing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's so cute.
You probably should have saved that anybody that goes back and watches line for right at the very end.
Sorry.
We love you.
Rub your stone harder.
It's warm.
Yeah.
It's getting love.
Wow, she shut you up.
Oh, I'm trying not to be my normal on-air character.
It's okay.
No, a lot of times he's usually very joking and a little obnoxious, and
Well, that one too.
yeah, they get along great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I knew you were a brother from another mother.
Excuse me. But yeah, no. So you said you've got new tarot cards coming in and stuff?
Oh yes, we've got them in. The case is full. The oracle case is full. So they each have their own separate cases now. Because that case we bought 3 weeks ago before we went on vacation, and so that they're separated now, so I can actually fill it to capacity, and then some.
We have to go shopping.
Oh, that brings me to another question. Do you have any plans to bring in Ogden into the shop in any point in the future?
Notice the silence and the crickets.
It really
It's
you'll
the
have to,
druid.
Okay, what?
It's like okay, like runes,
Yes.
but a little bit even further back. It's the druid writing. Yeah, I knew that was coming. It's another form of divination in a writing.
Have not.
But doesn't it deal with
seen-
the trees more from a tree point of view?
It's very much associated with trees. The Ogden sticks themselves are each inscribed with these particular runes are the incorrect term, but it's an ancient Celtic way of writing. That's like a line with notches that come off this way, and sometimes they go in perpendicular patterns.
Okay.
And each one of the symbols are associated with a particular type of wood. Like some of them are oak, some of them are willow.
Somebody else asked about that a while ago. We have not found anything like that from our vendors yet, but I will write it down and he'll research it.
Excellent. I can guarantee at least one sale.
No, too. You know me. I mean, with my guide.
And that's another thing too. Our customers, if we don't have it, we always say we'll write it down. We look for it. If we can't look for it, we'll call you because we always ask for phone number or email. We'll let you know, and then we'll try to help you find it somewhere else. But yeah, we search and we do find probably 85% of items for people who are looking for things that we typically don't have.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that's a very good thing. But I mean, it also helps you decide what stuff else you may want to decide to get.
True.
That you don't even know that you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Branching
sit
out.
down and look at catalogs upon catalogs and websites, and it's like, Spirit does their best to help us with, you should get this, you should get that. But a lot of times our human still overrides that, and it's like,
ooh,
what the? I don't think that, so we base our decision on whether or not we would buy it. Okay? Our bad. So we highly encourage our customers to ask us for things. Have you seen this? Can you get that? Our customers that come in looking for herbs are very good at that. They come in asking for a little bit of everything. And, we try with each one. But just because you don't see something in our shop, please, by all means, don't think that we can't get it or automatically assume that, because we will try. We'll try anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was busy looking at a spirit. Because he stopped and he looked over and I'm like, I don't got nothing to say at the moment. But no, I mean, like I said, I love you all's shop. I stumbled upon it on accident. I didn't know it was there at all. I mean, I just happened to be over there shopping and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I'm home.
That's what a lot of people say when they walk in.
Yeah. And in fact, like I said, because there's several spirit that are in the store, and the little girl is the one who directed me to you. Because I remember the first time I met you guys, and I was in the store in general, and you were like, can you, can I help you and stuff? And I was just thrown off by the little girl that pulled me downstairs, and I was like, who's the little girl? Because I knew that you all being in the shop that it was, that you were psychic and whatnot, so I was like, what's up with the little girl?
Well, to throw it out there, we are also paranormal investigators too.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to be, even if you don't mean to be. When you get into the psychic, I mean,
that was beforehand. That was before any of this.
Really?
We've been investigators for 7 years now.
7 years.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But and that's very cool. I mean, it's very cool in the sense of, it helps you to detect where stuff really is.
Mm-hmm.
Versus is it just what's the proper wording? Because sometimes it's not spirit that's like, I don't want to say haunting, but that's left its residual energy. Sometimes it's not spirit; it's just a mass amount of accumulated energy.
Psychic echo.
Yeah, So I mean, it helps you to understand what for me personally, I always say as big as the Earth is, and as long as the Earth's been here, the whole place has to be haunted of some form. I mean, there's been death at least on every spot of Earth, most likely, for as long as it's been, whether it's animal, whether it's murder, whether it was, just, like you said, animals kill each other, living, dinosaurs, da-da-da-da-da. At some point, there's probably been death on every spot of the Earth at some point. So in some form, there's a residual energy that never goes away, but some cleansed, and healed, and some aren't. And when you got into the paranormal investigators, see, that's right where my head goes, and I'm like, well, of course, everything. Why wouldn't everything have something at some point? I mean,
Never thought of it that way, but yeah.
I mean, that's the way that I see it. I mean, and obviously, I think that being a medium, and picking up on the energy, is going to help you to understand what you're investigating. At least that's the way my head thinks. Am I wrong?
Well, from an energy standpoint, from a lot of things that I've read, on the other side, we have the option of splitting or distributing our energy in numerous ways. Most every time when we reincarnate, we leave a part of our energy on the other side, our higher self, so to speak. So I think that for those that die under normal circumstances, non-tragic, non-violent, they gather up their energy, so to speak, and they take it all back home with them. So you don't have that extra energy laying around with everything.
Yeah, no, I would be more of in bad situations.
That energy imprints on other energy. Okay, so we have had ghost soldiers walking back and forth in the front yard of our house, and it's, to me, that's less than 1% of that person's energy, but it imprinted the land around it so that it still walked back and forth. Now, when it got to the point that that energy turned and walked up to the front door one night and scared the crap out of Cheryl.
I wasn't expecting it.
It turned into something else. But for the most part, I feel all of our energy goes back to the other side. Funny that you should mention that little girl that directed you to our shop, because that is the one and only full-bodied apparition that I have seen. Busy as heck for Saturday. I'm walking back to our little stand there, the register stand, and me and Cheryl and a number of other people had been talking about that particular young lady and the events surrounding her death in that building all that day. And I walk back, and out of the corner of my eye in our office, there stands a girl in period dress about the same height as her, and I'm like, stop, back up, do a double take, nothing there. And I'm like, okay, I know you were just there. Are you, I think her name was Mary, but so that's
But you should have seen the expression on his face. It was like,
it's like you said,
and I'm like, what the hell did you
like
see?
I've just
And he
seen
goes,
a ghost.
she was there. She was there. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. When you sense spirit, I can feel it, and it might be good, it might be bad, it might be harsh, it might be tight. I mean, there's many different reasons of whether it's energy or spirit. Because when I tell people all the time, I'm like, sometimes you're not really sensing spirit, you're sensing energy, and you need to learn how to understand your gut feelings and understand that. But when it crosses over into sight, like you were saying, you're like, oh, I know you've been there but all of a sudden now you're visual, and so I completely understand that.
And the backstory to that is, enough that was her energy. Some very wrong things happened to her, and I'm not going to go into them, but that was her energy. She wanted somebody to know her story before she moved on to the other side, and once she found out that I paid attention to her, she was persistent in my finding out about her story and letting somebody know about it.
Yeah, because the last few times I've been in the store, I haven't felt her, so she probably has moved on, and I'm sure she has.
I told her the best thing that would help her soul was to go to the other side and to ask to come back as a protector for other young girls in the area, so the same thing wouldn't happen to them. So I get the feeling that she is now a guardian angel for today's girls, so that the things that happened back in the 1920s happen less often.
No, I completely understand. Like I said, I've seen her, I felt her, I knew. Yeah, because, but since there's nothing we can do with that, I'm just like, oh, I was just wanted to, state that I could feel and see that, and that, so I knew. But you know what? Why don't you just tell me some of the special things that you guys, have, like, or some of your like, not shows, we're the show. Some some things that you offer really fast.
Your special services, like your salt room.
Yeah, some of your salt room, maybe
We-
some of your classes really fast, because we're starting to run out of time.
Okay. For those that don't know, Himalayan salt is very, very beneficial to breathe in. It helps your respiratory system and helps clear your sinuses. So other places around the country have built salt caves. We don't have that much room, so we've built a salt closet. It is a 50 square foot room. 50 square foot room, and we have almost 5,000 square foot of salt coverage in that room. It's $10 for 30 minutes. You come in, you sit down, you breathe in the salt and just relax, and it helps to clear your
Meditate,
sinuses.
bring some music.
Yes. We also offer classes. We teach you how to use your pendulum, how to use oracle cards, what the difference is between oracle and tarot, all kinds of different things like that. I am a certified life coach. I specialize in spirituality. I also am an energy healer. That's a little different from Reiki. I do not, all of my work is hands off, but when I close my eyes, Spirit shows me your skeletal or muscular system and where the issues are, and I channel or funnel energy into those areas. We do classes and talks on empaths. Seen a lot of people that are empathic lately that are just not sure of what's going on in their life, so we talk with them. Classes on indigo children and crystal and rainbow children. Classes on finding yourself and finding your purpose. And I will turn it over to Cheryl to let her talk about her classes and things.
Well, besides learning how to read oracle cards, I teach how to use your crystal ball, pendulum work also, other forms of divination. I specialize, of course, in readings. I do past life regressions. Something like that needs to be set up in advance. I only do it on certain days because of the length of time. It's roughly a 2-hour process. So I pick 2 days out of the week that are the quietest in the back for everybody's benefit. And
Your online courses?
my online courses, I actually, through my website, www.briteblessings, BRITE, blessings.com, I have under programs 2 courses that I wrote one last year and one this year. The first one is so important, I believe, grounding and meditation. A $35 course. It takes you through 5 days with 5 videos and a 22-page workbook. It's a closed group on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, there is another way to have the class. But you're in the class. It's yours. There's other videos there. I do live Q&As. And then my other course that I have is chakra balancing using a pendulum. You do not need to know your chakras. You do not need to understand how to use a pendulum. Everything is in your 20-page workbook on what your chakras are, how to understand imbalance, overbalance of your chakras, along with how to use a pendulum. And that is a process that takes about an hour for cleansing the first time. Something that you can do over and over again, once a week, or twice a week, however often you feel that you're blocked, that you need help. And I am still working on a 3rd major course, which hasn't come out yet, and that's still in the works. So that's going to be a big one when it comes out.
In the process.
In the process.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. But we're pretty much running out of time, right, hon?
You got a couple more minutes if there's anything else you guys would like to talk about.
Well, throw in real quickly before we have to get off here. It's you can find our website at www.thegroveofbrite.blessings.com. We are on Facebook under the Grove of Brite Blessings. I have a separate Facebook group called Fredericksburg Spiritualist Talk, where we cover a lot of topics related to spirituality and personal growth. I cover out of body experiences, near death experiences, just anything that people want to talk about.
It's a closed group, so no one needs to have anybody look over their shoulder to if there's family members that are not buying into it. So yeah, closed group, very informative.
And once again, we are at 914 Caroline Street in downtown Fredericksburg, in the back of Caroline Square.
Excellent.
We love it. I have to go shopping. They got new tarot cards.
Hey, you do you.
I'm sorry. That's what I took from it. I was like, tarot cards. I'm sorry, but I have a one-track mind sometimes. But yes,
some women like shoes. You like tarot.
Well, I'm being drawn to start doing something different with it somehow, and I'm still figuring it out. But anyway,
it's okay. We had one lady that's moving in the near future, and she came in today and bought 9 different tarot decks. So
I signed up for 2 hours the other day, writing all over my tarot cards, notes, because it's the way my mind can keep all of that in my head. I'm learning it, and I'm like writing it on the outer rims, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden I went into like 5 hours of readings, and I was like, can I have my body back now? I would like to go to sleep. So yeah, no, I know something's going on with it, and I just have to, find which ones are supposed to be what's going on. I just haven't figured it all out yet. So I'm like, tarot, apparently. But anyway, so I'm not worried about it. I think it's all a good thing. And like I said, I love that you guys have the shop and that it's so comfortable and feels so warm. But because you were saying it was online and you had like the courses, I mean, do you do any readings or anything online also?
Oh, my readings, I do in person. I do phone readings. I do email readings, which people don't quite understand how that works. All I need is a picture, and the reading happens. So
no, yeah. I do the same thing. So I mean,
yeah.
Some people have trouble understanding that, but
yeah.
But I'm like, if I'm going to get the message, I'm going to get it.
It
doesn't matter if you're here.
Yeah, all about the energy.
Mm-hmm. So I completely agree. But that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I was like, I had a feeling that you did have some like online services and stuff, even though like when you go in the store and we talk to you personally and everything, you wouldn't necessarily assume that there was any online stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like I was supposed to ask that so that I could bring that out. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, is there anything else last minute? Because I think we're out of time. Yes, we're out of time. Hill Hippie says it's time to go now. So we have to go. Have a wonderful night. And if you're in the Fredericksburg area, please, please stop in and see these two. You need to. They're an awesome place. It's the Grove of Brite Blessings. Like I said, if you're in the Fredericksburg area, stop in and give them a shot. With that being said, everybody, I love you. And we will see you for our next show at normal scheduled time.
And thank you again to our guests for stopping in and gracing us with their presence.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
We'll be having you guys back. I'm sure of it. With that being said, good night, everybody.